Hello everyone, welcome back to Bullpen Sessions. Right now we're going to talk about pickoff moves for left and right-handers to first and second base. And this pertains mostly to the 9 to 12-year-olds. We're at an age now where there's leadoffs and there is stealing bases. So, Coach, we need to kind of learn to keep people closer to the base.
It really is. From the 9 to 12s, we're not going to throw a lot of kids out, but it's basically timing-wise. It's getting set, doing different time-wise to give the batter a different look at us as well as the base runner. We've got basically a slow move, which is just a real deliberate move, and then we have a quick move to first base that we hope we can catch them leaning one way or the other. Primarily, most important thing, again, is we got to throw strikes as a pitcher to give the catcher even a chance.
Good deal. So we'll do first and second, and then I'll also go over some left-handed rules that are a little bit different than right-handed so that you can get working on it now, because it's a great time to start learning how to do it, because as you get older, it obviously becomes much more of an important part of the game.
It really is. I mean, keeping guys closer to the base, not having a chance to steal on you, gives you a better chance to turn double plays, maybe get a force out somewhere that you wouldn't if they steal every time. Well, number one is we still, as a guy gets on first base, we still got to remember our most important goal is to throw strikes. All right, keeping the guy close to first base at the younger ages is very difficult to do, but we can give you a couple of different things we can do. The key points are that we must, as we put our foot on the rubber, hands must be apart from the glove. We can turn, we can move wherever we want to before we get set. Once we come into a set position where our hands in our glove, we no longer can shift our shoulders whatsoever. That would be a balk. We have to keep everything here lined up, looking at the pitcher, or glancing over our shoulder to see the guy at first base. If we're going to work a pickoff move, I suggest that you move to the first base side of the rubber versus the third base side. Once we get set, all right, we come up and we collect. We must stop. At that point, we're going to disengage our right foot from the rubber by picking it up, step back, and throw. Or the quicker one would be coming set, quick feet, and throw. Weights back on my back leg, picking my right foot up, stepping, and throwing. The rule is your right foot has to disengage, which means has to leave the rubber before the left foot does. But once again, if we're not going to pick them off, it's very important for us to have different setups of setting our hands. One time we'll set up here, 1,000, 1,002, and go. The next time, we might go right here, 1,001, and pick off. So you want to keep different times of how you're delivering to the plate. Again, most important thing is throwing strikes. If we can get the runner at first base, that's great. Hi, we're back here on the pitching mound working on pickoffs. I have Dylan here that's going to demonstrate. He's a 9-year-old travel ball player that's going to demonstrate 3 different types of pickoffs at first base. All right, Dylan, first one we're going to get set. Make sure we're going to step off and then throw. Good. So it's kind of a slower move, so they think more about that move than anything else. You may do that a couple times. So he's going to do it one more time. He's going to come set, step off, and just be a little bit quicker this time, Dylan. Notice he's on the first base side of the rubber. Steps, and then he always follows his throw all the way down to to the first base. All right, the next one is more of our quick move. I'm sorry. The next one is our break hand move. All right, so now he's going to do the same thing, but he's not going to throw. He's going to give it like he's going to throw over to first. So he gets set. Gets it up like he's going to throw. Again, we're trying to adjust to see what the base runner's doing, if he's already taken a big step towards second base or not. Then we come back with the quick move, Dylan. Quick one. He's going to disengage, but he's just going to replace his feet. And then he follows it. Perfect right there. And the whole idea is, again, to make sure that we're quick to first base when we need to be, but focus more on throwing strikes. All right. All right, so now we have Dylan here. We're going to give a couple of different looks at the first baseman to let him know. First one is just a regular. We're going to kick up. We'll throw to home plate after we give a look to first base. So, Dylan, get yourself set. Get your sign. Give him a good look at first base. Come set. Good. So typically that'll be one that he'll use more times than not. Then we go into the slide step. All right, slide step, he's going to be a lot quicker to the plate. He's going to put a little bit more weight on his back leg, barely picking up his left foot and exploding towards home plate. So he's going to give the same kind of looks. Get set, check the guy. Again, a little bit of weight on the back foot. Barely picks up and then goes through. So once again, it'll be a big difference for the base runner of seeing two different looks of him going home. And hopefully at that time we'll give our catcher a chance to throw him out.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about left-handed pickoff moves, and there's a little bit of difference there between right-handed and left-handed, a couple of rules we have to learn that we can't do, otherwise we'll balk. And so the first thing you want to talk about or think about is the rule is you can't cross a 45-degree angle on the mound. Now what that means is this: you want to draw a line from your left foot heel, the heel of your left foot, at a 45-degree angle out on the mound. And what that means is when you make a move to first base, coach, you can't cross that line, right? If you cross this line as you throw to first base, they're going to call a balk on you. Now, the second rule is you can't have your foot cross the rubber, okay? So if you pick up your foot and you make a move towards first base and your foot has crossed the plane of the rubber, they're going to call a balk as well. So those are the two main rules that you have to think about as a left-handed pitcher that are a lot different than a right-handed pitcher. Okay, so we've gone over a couple of rules here, and two of them being, one, you can't cross that 45-degree angle as I go to first, and the second is my foot can't cross over the plane of the rubber. If I cross my foot over the rubber, I have to go home. If I cross my foot over the rubber and I make a move to first base, if the umpire's good, he's going to call a balk on me. Now, if I also don't have my foot cross the rubber, but I step over that 45-degree angle and throw it to first base, that's also a balk. Otherwise, it's just like right-handers, right? You want to change your timing, how fast you go to the plate, how many different ways you look back to the home plate, back to first base, back to the home plate, and just mix up your moves. Mix up your timing of those moves, mix up your looks. Maybe one time you look at first base the whole time and you go to the plate. The next time you look at the plate the whole time and you go to first base. So it's really kind of a mind game that you're playing with the runner on first base, just to kind of get an idea of what they're doing. Because a lot of times runners will go on the first move that a left-hander makes. As soon as he picks up his foot, they'll take off. And if that's the case, if you have your balance and you don't cross the plane, you can get a nice easy pickoff move at first base and get the guy out.
All right, so I have Red here, a left-hander, so we're going to kind of go over some different things we can do with a left-handed pitcher to try to throw and pick off the guy at first base. Most important thing is, Red, go ahead and get set for me, is for this 45-degree angle right here, we draw a line from his heel all the way down, and he has to make sure that he stays on the second base side of that line. All right, Red, you want to get set? Now just step off first. Give him a good step off. Step and act like, there you go, good. Now always remembering too that as a lefty we can't go from here across the rubber, so he still has to point his foot up to the target, whether he goes home or at first base. So Red, let's try this time picking it up, stepping as close to that line as we have, and then throwing to the first base. Set, look at him, look there, kick it up nice and high. Now step and go. Good. So the most important thing for lefties is always walk off the mound as you throw. That doesn't give the umpire that chance to really look where your foot is landing. All right, Red, this time let's go home. All right, so again, making sure that your right foot doesn't go past the rubber. You're going to kick it up like you're going to ready to pick them off, and then you're going to throw home. So get set. Come set. Look at the guy at first. Look home. Look at it again. Now kick your leg up nice and high and go home. Perfect throw at home. Again, it's just a matter of mixing up his looks, making sure that the first baseman doesn't get a real quick jump on him. Most important, again, is throwing strikes. So just remember now, when we're trying to pick off second base, you don't have to throw the ball. You do have to disengage your foot from the rubber. But at that time, you can fake the throw instead of having to throw like we do at first base. First thing we want to make sure we're doing is giving different looks. So once we get set, the man on second base, we want to give him one, maybe two looks. All right, then we'll go into the slow move like we did at first base. You're going to pick your right foot up, step, and throw. That's typically the move you're going to see most players use. The runner is actually looking at your back foot. If he sees you step off the rubber towards him, he's going to dive back. We go from there, we go into our quicker move like we did at first base. This time we get set, give him a couple looks back and forth. Now we're going to disengage our foot to our left foot and then step. Step and go. Glove side. Always turning glove side to keep your control. At the same time, keep you from throwing the ball to center field. All right, once we go into that one, the third one is probably the one that gets more guys picked off than anything else, and that's the kick up and spin move. All right, from there, you have to be a good actor when you're doing this. By getting upset right here, getting ready, give them a look here. It's very important that we make the second baseman look like we're going to throw. So we're picking our leg all the way up, and then spin, and we'll get them out either by throwing or getting them in a rundown. Base runner's typically looking at your leg coming up off the ground. So once he sees your foot off the ground here, they're going to take an extra step. That's when you can spin and go. Probably the best move in baseball. Gets big league guys as well as high school guys. All right, we're back here with Dylan. We're going to show you a couple of different pickoff moves to second base. First one will be the slower move. Just remember, you're always going glove side, spin, throw into the second baseman. Make sure you give him a couple of looks, Dylan. Come set, give him one more look. Good job. So he just steps off, glove side, makes a good throw. All right, Dylan, let's go to the quicker move now. Yep. This one, he's going to actually move his right foot up to his left and left over the rubber. Again, follow himself after the throw, getting a good spin, making sure his shoulders are lined up like he would be pitching. The third one, as we talked about, the spin move. This is the one we got to be a good actor. Make sure we get that leg all the way up, Dylan, touching that elbow to your knee, and then spinning. Good job. Perfect. Give them a different look at it. They look at it, leg kicking up. They start taking their secondary lead. That's when we get them. Well, again, we're either picking them off there, or if they take off, then we're going to get them in a rundown and get them out. So again, you don't have to throw the ball to second base, only to first base.